and a naval codebreaker races to stop a deadly attack.
But you're talking about a critical situation.
These are the mysteries at the museum.
The Big Apple has more skyscrapers than any other city in the United States. And the tallest of them is One World Trade Center. This gleaming edifice reaches a height of 1,776 feet. This mysterious machine recalls a critical mission that helped America turn the tide in World War II.
This is a story of how a brilliant man was able to outsmart the enemy.
It's December 1941. Following the surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, the United States is reeling. The preemptive strike has killed more than 2,000 American soldiers and decimated the Pacific Fleet, destroying some 300 airplanes and 20 naval vessels.
The attack on Pearl Harbor was completely unexpected. It was a complete surprise.
One man who takes the terrible turn of events particularly hard is 41-year-old cryptologist and naval officer Joseph Rochefort.
Rochefort was the complete package. He was fluent in Japanese. He had a good understanding of how the Navy cryptologic system worked.
Rochefort is the head of the American code-breaking group known as Station Hypo.
Station Hypo was part of the United States Navy efforts to track Japanese movements and collect information out in the Pacific.
Rochefort feels a gnawing sense of guilt. It was his job to detect the signs that such an attack was coming, and he failed.
There is no one who feels more ashamed of what happened than Joseph Rochefort.
But he's determined to make amends. In the aftermath of Pearl Harbor, he vows that he will crack the Japanese naval codes and prevent any future attacks. The task is a daunting one. For 5 months, Rochefort and his team pore over reams of encoded Japanese communications, and using machines just like the one on display at the National Cryptologic Museum in Maryland, they try to crack the codes. But their efforts are in vain. As soon as they make the slightest headway, the Japanese change the codes.
Just when you start to get close, just when you start to make some progress, boom, it's back to the drawing board.
Then, in May of 1942, Rochefort has a breakthrough. He thinks he's decrypted part of a message that says that the next target will be an island that harbors some kind of U.S. military airbase. There are 2 possible locations that seem to fit the bill. The first is Midway Island, an American air and submarine base 1,300 miles northwest of Hawaii.
It was a very important part of the defense of the United States in the Pacific.
The other is Johnston Island, a military outpost and naval air station 720 miles southwest of Hawaii. Both are vital to the American military. But the U.S. Navy, depleted after the attack on Pearl Harbor, only has enough ships to defend one of them.
If you guess wrong, you might just end up having Hawaii wide open for invasion. So you're talking about a critical situation.
Rochefort needs to find a way to definitively figure out which island the enemy will attack.
Rochefort cannot allow another Pearl Harbor. He must come up with a plan to thwart the Japanese.
It's May 1942, Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. After months of work, Navy officer and cryptologist Joseph Rochefort believes he's cracked the Japanese naval codes. He's certain their next target will be a military base near Hawaii, possibly Johnston Island or Midway. But which is it?
To figure out for sure which island is the next Japanese target, Rochefort comes up with a clever trap. Knowing that the enemy is monitoring U.S. naval airwaves, he orders the base at Midway to send out a fake emergency message to Hawaii. The decoy message states that the desalinization plant that provides fresh water to the island is broken.
He is baiting the Japanese. He's setting up a convenient cryptologic trap.
As anticipated, Rochefort's team then intercepts a message from the Japanese. In it, they alert their troops that their next target is lacking fresh water and they should bring extra supplies. The trick has succeeded. The target is Midway.
It worked exceedingly well. It made it very clear that it was Midway. Rochefort probably felt a huge amount of satisfaction.
Rochefort's superiors order the U.S. Navy into position northeast of Midway in anticipation of a Japanese attack.